Hello and welcome to the Rock River Valley Traction Company. In today's video, we're going to make an attempt at getting the box motor out of the car barn. Now, this box motor has not moved in probably 10 years anyways. It's a great car, rides very nice. It's geared really low, so it's pretty slow, but it's got a lot of suspension work in it, and it rides really nice. It was built in 1967. It's powered by one 36 volt DC golf cart motor. At some point I may actually put a motor on the second truck, but I know for sure this car has not operated since 2015 when I put the loop in at the west end of the line, because I don't even know if this car will clear the tree on the curve up there. So been excited to get it out and try it, but it's been derailed actually in the barn. It's been sitting in here for so long that the ties have rotted out from under this track, and presently it has one wheel on the ground, which I'll show you here if you can see it. Don't know, disregard the mess in the barn here. A lot of junk. So looking at this wheel, well, I don't know if you can see, but right here is the top of the rail, and the wheel is it is below that. So I measured the gauge, and it's sitting at about 30 inches right now. Here's part of what's left of the tie. Not much. I think the termites got it. Actually several of them, because there's more than one that's gone. So what I've done here is I've excavated underneath. I've got it all dug out, and I'm gonna put a tie in here, and then I've got a jack right here that I will use to lift the truck, get the wheel up above the rail. I'll pull the rail back into gauge and secure it to the tie, and then we'll get the jack out of the way. I'm actually probably going to put a couple ties in. I dug back far enough so I get a couple ties put in here. Try to hold the gauge enough to get this car out of here. Once I get the car out, this track needs to be redone. You can't barely even see the rail. It's all sunk into the rock. I don't even know if the rear truck is gonna be able to pass over what's there, but we're gonna try it. So yeah, that's what we're working on today. So let's see how this goes. Alright, so I got the tie put in there, and the jack is in there. Had to get a little creative with a piece of wood to be able to lift the truck, but right now I've got this wheel is up off the rail. Let's go look at the other side, see what it looks like. Hopefully it's up high enough now. Oh yeah, look at that, huh? There we go. So we're up above the rail. So now I'm gonna put my regauger on the rail and pull them together, get it back engaged, and then we'll secure the rail to the tie. So let's put that in. Got the regauger in here, and we're working on pulling the rail in. As you can see, maybe you can see, the wheel is about halfway on the rail now. So I'm just going to keep pulling on that till I get it engaged. We're sitting at about 24.5 right now. Once I get the gauge pulled back into 24, I'll throw some lags around the rail into this tie. I'll show you, I'll get this I'll get this gauger out and show it to you once we're done here. But this thing has been a godsend. I picked it up for like 20 bucks at Harbor Freight years ago. Modified it with some hooks that'll go over the rail, and it's just so nice to have. But more on that later. Let's keep pulling this rail over and get this secured so we can get this car out. All back on the rail now. Jack is out of there. I still got the gauger in there because I gotta put the lags in. I got them right here. This is what I used for the track. They're just a 5/16 by 2.5, and then I got a big like a fender washer on there. I used to use 3/8 by 3-inch spikes, but they're just a lot of work to drive those things. This is so much easier. Just take the old Milwaukee here and pop them in. Takes about 2 seconds to drive those in, and they're easy to reuse too. So we're gonna lag this up, and then I'm actually gonna put another tie in while I'm here, just because there's a tie right here, but I have no idea what kind of condition it's in. Also, I don't know if you can tell, but this part of the rail is let's see here if you can see it. So in the barn here, he actually had C-channel for rail in here. This whole section is just a piece of C-channel. I'm going to change that out and put actual rail in here so it can be properly secured. I mean, it works, but I'd just rather have rail, even if it is this crappy light rail. This is like 8-pound stuff. It's really not even rail. It's building truss material, but at least it's a T-shape, and it does work. It's just awfully light. So yeah, let's get this secured. Throw another tie in here. We'll get the gauger out, and then see if we can push the car out of here. Alright, ties are in. We are all secured. Got them lagged down. Yeah, I know it's a really short tie. This is kind of temporary, just so I can get this thing out of here. More than capable of holding the gauge. So let's try to get the car out. Well, false alarm. Before we push the car out, I decided I should probably try to clean the flangeways out a little bit because of all this rock. And in doing that, I discovered there's a broken joint here. So when I pushed the car through here, it would have just derailed right on that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook a chain to the bottom of this rail and use the regauger. I'll tie the regauger to the adjacent track and pull that rail over to where it meets up with the other one. That'll at least get the rail together to where I can get the car outside, and then I'll re-weld it once the car's out of the way. Here's our new tie. So when I pulled the gauge in, it must have stressed that and broke it, but no worries, we'll take care of it. We'll be out of here in no time. Alright, so here we go. I've got the chain hooked to the bottom foot of the rail, and I've got it tied onto my regauger here, and that is hooked to an adjacent rail in the barn. I've even hooked this thing to trees for doing stuff like this, but it works great. Rail is back together, good enough for us to get the car out at least, and then we can make a proper repair on that joint. So now, attempt number 2. Let's see if we can push the car out. Got the track all fixed up in here now. We're all in gauge. Ended up having to put in not just one more, but two more ties in there. There was just nothing. Here's what's left of the ties. That was out of two ties. That's all that's left. So yeah, track is at least good to shove the car back in on. Should hold up for a while till I can find some time to revamp this whole track that this car sits on. It really needs it. Nothing's ever been done with it. So I've got the car cleaned off. Out here I swept it off a little bit. Just trying to get the air brakes hooked back up. It looks like the mice chewed through the lines, so I'm making some repairs there. Got the pole up. There is power in there. The cooling fan still runs for the rectifier bank. This car is one of two that is left out here that still has a resistor speed control. So there's no electronic control in this car. It's strictly motor in series with resistors, and as the throttle is increased to a higher position, then that further decreases the resistance in series with the motor to increase the speed. Eventually probably convert that over, but yeah, it works fine the way it is. If I had a second motor, it's definitely going to need to be revamped, because I'm not going to try to find another resistor bank, and really that's just horribly inefficient. Much better to use IGBT based speed controls like everything else out here. So yeah, get the air brakes hooked up and see if we can get this car to move. Our first look at the 867 out in the daylight in years. Made it out. It's a good first step. Looks like we've got some cleaning to do. I got a piece of wood stored up on the roof. Oops. Got a bunch of coon crap up there and leaves from our friendly chipmunks and squirrels roaming around in the barn through the winter. Paint's peeling pretty bad up here on the roof. I'll get that all cleaned off, and we'll try to take this thing for a ride. But before we do that, I was inspecting the track that is in the barn where this came from, and discovered that there's yet another tie just ahead of the ones that we replaced that's completely gone. So I'm gonna try to fix this track up before I do anything else. Here's the tie. Can't even see it. It's just paper. That's all it is. Just paper. Here, I can take and kick this rail. It moves pretty good, so we'll throw another tie in there, and at least that way I can get the car back in here to store it. And I'm also going to make a repair where our broken rail was here. You can see how I hooked that chain on there. So we'll get that fixed up, and yeah, we'll try to take the old 867 for a ride. Got the track all fixed up in here now. We're all in gauge. Ended up having to put in not just one more, but two more ties in there. There was just nothing. Here's what's left of the ties. That was out of two ties. That's all that's left. So yeah, track is at least good to shove the car back in on. Should hold up for a while till I can find some time to revamp this whole track that this car sits on. It really needs it. Nothing's ever been done with it. So I've got the car cleaned off. Out here I swept it off a little bit. Just trying to get the air brakes hooked back up. It looks like the mice chewed through the lines, so I'm making some repairs there. Got the pole up. There is power in there. The cooling fan still runs for the rectifier bank. This car is one of two that is left out here that still has a resistor speed control. So there's no electronic control in this car. It's strictly motor in series with resistors, and as the throttle is increased to a higher position, then that further decreases the resistance in series with the motor to increase the speed. Eventually probably convert that over, but yeah, it works fine the way it is. If I add a second motor, it's definitely going to need to be revamped, because I'm not going to try to find another resistor bank, and really that's just horribly inefficient. Much better to use IGBT based speed controls like everything else out here. So yeah, get the air brakes hooked up and see if we can get this car to move. So here we are in the car. Here's the control. This is an actual trolley control. This is the air brake. The reverser is this knife switch. As you can see, there's no gauges, no meters. It does have a little bell up here. Still work? Oh, sort of. Alright, so question is, does it still move? Hey, after all these years, still runs. Does it stop? Yeah, air brakes still work. So here we are out on the west end loop, and just as I was afraid of, we are not going to clear this tree. As you can see, it's hitting it by, well, a long shot. So yeah, back to the drawing board, I guess. I'll probably take it back the way it came and put it back in the barn. But we've had a good run up to here. basically at the end of the line, and had minimal troubles, a few D-wires, but I put a different shoe on there and that helped a lot. So yeah, it's been fun. So we made it back to the barn, going backwards. Put it back in the barn now and think about what we're going to do with that tree. I hate to cut into it or take it down. I can't really move the track. So yeah, be doing some planning here. But at least we got the track in the barn in a condition now where we can get this car in and out. And yeah, so thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, comment, and appreciate everybody watching.